So here we go, the power of new beginnings, I believe, and seems like a good time of year to do that. I guess that's why you chose the title. But we're coming out to Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year. It's the head of the year, it's the beginning. It's the beginning, and everybody knows that the beginning is very, very, very important. I actually used to play lots of tennis tournaments. I played in Queens one, not the Queens tournament. I played lots of tennis when I was a young lad, before you were born, Rabbi Hill. And the server generally wins the game. You know, it's hard to break serve. It's a good thing if you break the serve. Why is that? Because the beginning is very important. So you have this huge advantage if you're serving first. You've got a huge advantage, and you set the tone of the whole point. And if you go 10-pin bowling, how the ball leaves your hand, that is how it's going to hit the pins at the end. The beginning, the DNA creates the whole child. So if the DNA is good, then the result is going to be a good child, you know? The seed creates the tree. So if the seed is a good seed, then you're going to get a good tree. Later on, when we're grown up, it's harder to damage a fully grown tree or a fully grown human being. But the beginning is very sensitive, very delicate, and immensely, 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 immensely important. So we have to get the beginning right. The beginning sets the trajectory for the rest of everything by how you wake up in the morning. You know, I got out of bed on the wrong side. I got out of bed on the wrong side. So it's hard to salvage your day after you get out of bed on the wrong side. So you've got to make sure you don't get out of bed on the wrong side. So we're going to work this out. By the way, how do you make sure you don't get out of bed on the wrong side? How do you make sure that you wake up in a very strong way? The answer is you go to bed in a strong way. If you go to bed in a very strong way, if you go to bed in I don't want to wake up tomorrow morning, I'm dreading the sound of the alarm, I'm not looking forward to what's happening, then you're going to wake up in that consciousness. But if you go to bed thinking, I cannot wait for the alarm to go off, I just can't wait, because I'm going to fill my life with immense, beautiful, meaningful, purposeful things that give me immense vitality. And I'm sure I'm going to face challenges, but I'm not going to let my challenges define me. In fact, my challenges are going to make me great. So I can't wait to get up in the morning. Actually, the very first thing it says in the Shulchan Aruch, the book of Jewish law, is get up like a lion. You got to get up like a lion. Now, lions don't get up very well. They sleep about 22 hours a day, I think. But it doesn't mean that. It means no one messes with a lion. So just like no one messes with a lion, that voice in your head that wakes up with you when you wake up, that says, oh, I can't believe I did that last night. Oh, I can't believe what's happening today. Or that voice in your head, say, you can't mess with me, voice in my head. What are you doing? Why don't even engage. Don't even engage that voice in your head. Just get out of bed. Don't engage. By the way, we learned this from the very first problem that we had, which Chava listened to the snake. They were in the Garden of Eden, and the snake says to Chava, you know, eat from the tree because God wants this. And Chava just should have said, hey, I don't talk to snakes. What are you doing? So too, don't talk to that snake in your head when you wake up in the morning. Don't justify and rationalize and think about, because you're going to lose, because you're not even conscious enough to beat that voice most of the day, but definitely not when you just wake up. But the key is, and we learn this from the Kotzker Rebbe, a holy Hasidic master, he says there's no way you're going to get up like a lion if you go to bed like a donkey. If you want to get up like a lion, you got to go to bed like a lion. You go to bed like a donkey, you're getting up like a donkey. So don't be a donkey. Start being a lion. So this is what it is. Very, very, very important every single day of your life to start the day in the right way. Get the seed right. And Rosh Hashanah is the beginning. And we know it's the beginning because most people think that Rosh Hashanah, by the way, is the day that the universe was created. When was the universe created? 1st of Tishrei. But that's not true, actually. The universe was created on the 25th of Elul. So what was created on the 1st of Tishrei, on Rosh Hashanah? Adam and Eve, Adam and Chava, the first human beings with souls. I'm just going to turn on my air conditioning because it's boiling in Israel. Hello? Oh my God, it's so hot here that my air conditioning doesn't even want to work. It's like, no, it's too hot to work. So fine. So here we are. So it was a very bad beginning, by the way, for mankind. It wasn't a very good beginning. So we got to get the beginning right. We have to fix the beginning, and it's a time of creation. and recreation. Now, what some people don't know is the word Shana means year. So Rosh Hashanah means the head of the year, the beginning of the year. But Shana is also related to the word Lishanot. What does Lishanot mean? It means to change. To change. Shina, Shinui. We're going to do things differently. And we got to understand this. You got an opportunity to start doing things differently. By the way, Rosh Hashanah is also Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh, the first of the month, is a monthly, let's begin the month by being new, the renewal of the moon. By the way, this is why we go by the moon calendar. We are moon people, the Jews. There are two reasons we're moon people. Number one is because what's the purpose of the moon? The purpose of the moon is to reflect the light of the sun onto the earth. So what's the purpose of the Jewish people? To reflect the light of Hashem into the world. That's what we're doing here. We're the moon. Hashem's shining the light, and we've got to bring that light into existence. So we're moon people. But the second reason we're moon people is, and we proved this over and over and over and over again in history, is that we don't give up. We're not giving up. Ein shum yesh. There's no despair. You may try to bury us, but we are seeds. And when you bury a seed, the seed grows again. And it doesn't matter who's done what to us, we're still here. We're not growing weak. We're getting stronger. So we believe in renewal. You can always start again. Rabbi Nachman says, if you believe that you can mess things up, you got to believe that you can fix things too. Start again and again and again and again. Just keep going. Just keep going. But what's the option? The other option is just to give up. But that's not an option. Giving up's not an option. So you go, but I've started again so many times. I've tried again so many times. Yeah, well, do it again. Because the other option isn't an option. Well, you just got to stop. No, but it didn't work last time. I've had this character trait for 15 years and I've tried to work on it, but I haven't managed to beat it. Well, you better try again because, well, you're still breathing. What better thing have you got to do? Unless you got something better to do, unless, you want to beat your record in Candy Crush Saga or something. But I'm not doing that. I'm just going to go again and again and again. So the first thing we have to know, and it's always the first thing in spiritual growth. It's always the first thing in every growth, by the way, is you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you can change. By the way, even if it goes against all evidence, because all the evidence for the last 30 years is you haven't changed. But you've got to say, I still believe in myself. Why is that? Because Judaism and God believes in you. God said, by the way, it's the first thing you say every morning. When you get up, the first thing you say in the morning, Modeh Ani, very important, Lefanecha. But the last words of that verse that we say are Rabbi Emunatecha. Rabbi Emunatecha. Great is your faith in me. By the way, it doesn't say Rabbi Emunati. Great is my faith in God. I'm not saying that. I'm saying great is God's faith in me. God believes in you. Hello? That's why God made you wake up again this morning. He believes in you. So you better start believing in yourself. Just believe in yourself. Very, very important. And even if that voice in your head, that snake in your head is saying, no, but what happened? We don't talk to that snake in your head. Stop talking to the snake in your head. That would be a nice change. How about that? Stop giving it so much space in your head. Stop giving it so much significance. Yeah, but it's true what it says and I failed it. Okay, voice. Okay, voice. I heard you. But you know what? The first change I'm going to make is I'm not going to be a victim to you. Snake, voice in my head. And it's by beating the voice, is beating the snake voice in your head that you're going to change. That's how you're going to become greater. And everyone knows that the Nachash's snake is the same gematria as Mashiach. Exactly the same numerical value. Why? Because you can only reach redemption by beating the voice, by beating evil. Redemption comes through beating evil. So that's what we're trying to do. So number one, you've got to believe in yourself. You have to say to yourself, I can change. I can recreate myself. I'm going to recreate myself today. I'm going to be a whole new person today. I can, I will. I'm going to recreate myself. A sage's teacher, well, it says in the Torah, Hashem, before he created human beings, he said, Na'aseh Adam, let us make man. So everyone's freaking out. All the kophers, apikourses, what are they called? Heretics are saying, oh, Nase Adam, there's more than one God, we should make man. And so people are like, no, he was talking to the angels and saying to the angels, come on, we're the committee, let's start creating man, and all the answers. But the Baal Shem Tov said, no, Nase Adam is Hashem's talking to you, saying, hey, let's make you together. I'm not going to create you. I'm going to create your basic nature and that, but you got to create yourself. That's the whole partnership of God and human being, by the way. God gives us the material, and we take the material and we turn it into something great. God gives us a seed, and we take the seed and we turn it into bread. That is the whole of creation. God gives us our nature and our resources and our struggles and our challenges. We take those things and we become great people. By the way, completely different class, but this is why we call God He, even though God isn't a he or a gender, because in the relationship between masculine and feminine, the man gives the seed and the woman takes the seed and creates life with the seed. That's it. Not that I think God's a man, but in the God-human relationship with a woman, we're taking the seed that God gives us and we're turning it into a life. So that's a different class, by the way. But first thing, I'm going to recreate me and Hashem. I'm going to recreate myself. Every single morning, God says to me, I believe in you. Or I say to God, I know you believe in me. Which also, by the way, means I can deal with every single challenge that gets put in my way. There's nothing I can't deal with. But maybe I can't deal with it on my own, but with support and with a positive attitude, then I can deal with it. I'm going to live my life. So we've got to start not being afraid of change. Why is everyone so afraid of change? Afraid of not change. Imagine you don't change. It's a tragedy. It's a nightmare if you don't change. When my baby is born and he goes from just lying on his stomach, can't lift up his head, to lifting up his head, we're all like, whoa, he lifted up your head. But when he's 6 months old, if he can only lift up his head, that becomes a tragedy. That's awful. So then he starts crawling. When he starts crawling, everyone's like, yay, he's crawling water. But if he's only, when he's a year old and he's only crawling, it's a tragedy now. When it's a year old, he starts walking, yay, well, change is good, movement is good, growth is good. In fact, it's a tragedy if you don't change. It's a tragedy. If you're 44 years old and you're still talking about whatever you're talking about when you were 20 years old, and you're still, that's what you're investing, that's a tragedy. You got to grow. You got to become a great person. It's very, very important. So we relish change. We relish the opportunity to be new and create something great. So this is my life journey. I don't know if you've read my book yet, but you should. But it's really about, I went to I lived in Asia for 6 years. So let's say the first part, I lived in Sri Lanka for 4 months, and I got very well established there. And I learned the language, and I had my friends, and I had my job, and I had my home, and I knew the country, I knew everything about it. And when I got to that place where I'd kind of mastered it, I got out of there. I was like, I'm done. I'm going to the next place. I went to Thailand for 1.5 years. Got to Thailand for 1.5 years. I could speak Thai. I worked in a university. I knew Thailand very well. I meditated. After 1.5 years, I was like, bam, I'm out of here now. But people are like, no, you're going to start again from nothing? And I'm like, absolutely. Absolutely, I'm going to start from nothing. And then I went to India for 1.5 years, start again from nothing, built myself up, went to Jeju Island, a Korean island, and I got a black belt in Taekwondo. That was my whole journey, build myself and then start again, begin again. I actually got to Japan. Don't even know what year it was. Many years ago, and I got to Japan, and I had already got a black belt in Taekwondo, and I trained in Shaolin in China, crazy Kung Fu training, not for so long, about 5 weeks, but 5 weeks training Shaolin Kung Fu in the mountains of China is probably enough for most nice middle-class North London boys. But it was a crazy training, brutal training, and the man used to smack the back of my leg with a bamboo stick, and we used to have to run up this mountain at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was brutal. So I got to Japan, and I wanted to learn Aikido. So I went into the Aikido dojo, and this more not so old, but he was upper middle-aged Japanese man, the master. He basically just looked at me and said, "Gaijin, white man, attack me." however you like. Now, at this point, I'm a black belt. I trained in Kung Fu. I was like, okay, then. And I made a move towards him with my shotgun, and I blew his head. No, I didn't. So I made a move towards him, and within like half a second, he basically flipped me completely 360 degrees round. I landed with my face smashed on the mat and his knee in the back of my back. And I was like, okay. So he goes, go on, attack me again. So I did another little thing, and same thing. My arm bent behind my back, and I was like, oh my goodness. So did I feel like an idiot or that I wasted my life? I didn't. I was full of excitement, and oh my goodness, I've got something to learn here. I got something to grow here. He actually then said to me, by the way, you can attack me whenever you like. If you see me in the street or you see me in a restaurant, whenever you like, but not in an arrogant way, in a very sweet, loving, kind way, as an offer. It was like it was like he was offering to take me out to dinner. He was being very kind about it. And I learned very quickly not to do that. It was a bad thing to try and attack an Aikido master. But for me, it's immensely, immensely, immensely invigorating to start again. By the way, when I got to Aish, when I was 29 years old, I was this spiritual guru in India, and I was meditating, silent meditation retreats for 10 days, and I was doing yoga things in India. I got to Israel, 29 years old. Nothing, I knew very little about Judaism. You know, I knew Jonah and the whale, and I lit candles on Hanukkah. And I started trying to learn, and then I've forgotten what the exact word was, but it was something like Kelev. I'm not sure exactly, but I went up to this 9-year-old, one of the rabbi's sons, and I said, hey, what does this word mean? And he just looked at me and he was like, dog. I was like, oh, okay. And it was immensely humbling, or humiliating, one of the others. They're very closely related. But it was amazing because I'm starting again, and that's not a bad thing. I think it's a good thing to start again. And when I got to Aish, I started arguing philosophy with a rabbi, and we were arguing and arguing, and he won. He won the argument. That's why I'm here now, and he's not in Thailand. And that was immensely humbling. Let's say I won the argument. What did I really win? I didn't win anything. I won by losing the argument. I won by being introduced to something new. So we have to very much understand in our life that new beginnings and challenges, that's what's going to make you great. That is what you're going to. You want to be a great person, you got to start again. You got to not give up. You got to keep going. You got to challenge yourself. You're not going to be a great person and live an extraordinary life if you don't do extraordinary things. You're not going to. You're going to be a normal person. This is my biggest thing at the moment. People come and I say to them, are you going to be great? And they say, I hope so. I say, then you're not. You're not. No one becomes great by hoping so, you idiot. What are you, a jellyfish? You got to choose to be great. I'm a shark. That's where I'm going to go. I'm going to be great. So you got to go. You got to challenge yourself. I want challenge, and challenge comes from getting out of your comfort zone, doing something new, starting again. Very, very important. So we should relish change, relish failure. By the way, someone actually said to me once, you've achieved a lot. I walked the whole length of Israel in 40 days from the Lebanese border to Eilat, and I set up an organization. What do you think the secret is? And I said, I just did what I wanted to do, and I didn't really care if I failed. That's it. I don't care. Let's say I tried to walk the length of Israel and I didn't. So what? So I still walked a few days. That was cool. But what will other people think of me? I don't care what other people think of me. I care what I think of myself. So I'm going to feel like a loser if I'm afraid to do something just because I'm scared of failing. So you can think of me, you can think what you like of me. But I want to have self-respect. I don't get my self-respect based on what other people think of me. I get my self-respect based on I'm trying to be the greatest person I can. And that's going to involve failure sometimes. So you deal with it. Failing is not so bad. You're going to see this. You failed. Okay, I failed. No, next. Keep going. In fact, our holy sages teach us, Shiva Yipol Tzaddik V'kam. A tzaddik falls 7 times and they get up. Now, some interpretations are you can only be a tzaddik if you fall 7 times. That's how you become a tzaddik. You only become a tzaddik by failing, by messing up and getting up. As long as you get up one more time, then you fall down, you're okay. So just keep getting up. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Whatever that is, I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. We should have a Elul soundtrack. of like, I can do this. I can do this. No, so you got to believe in yourself. And you, by the way, how do you start believing in yourself? Don't overanalyze anything. Don't go to psychological weirdo stuff. Just start saying to yourself, I believe in myself. I believe in you, Dove Bear. I believe in, and then your mind will say, no, you don't. And you say, hey, snake, I'm speaking now. Thank you very much. I believe in myself. I can do it. I can change. Just keep saying that, because you know why people don't believe in themselves? Because they've just been saying for so many years, I don't believe in myself. So just stop that, change the soundtrack, and put on the I believe in myself soundtrack, and then you start believing in yourself. Woo-hoo, crazy. By the way, all the deepest truths are very, very simple. Very simple. When people start getting over analytical and weird and complicated, you got to start wondering, what are you talking about? It's amazing how many times I have one-on-one meetings with students, and they come up to me and say, Rabbi, this is going to take like more than our 15 minutes or half an hour. I got so much. And after 5 minutes, we're finished, because I'm like, that was it. And they're like, what? I said, that's it. You know, I'm struggling to get up in the morning. Do you have any, what can I do? Yes. Set your alarm. When it goes off, get up. No, next. What do you want? Just do it. Why are you making it so weird and complicated? Just do that. I can't make a decision. I can't. What decision should I make? Should I be a preschool teacher or a nurse? No, either. They're both great. You're both helping people. They're both nice. Your motivation for doing it is because you want to help people and do something fulfilling and meaningful. Well, they both fit that. So do either one. It's great. Make your decision, but don't get all weird and anxious about it. Just make a decision. It's okay. The weird, anxious, weirdo, worrying stuff, that's not helping you make your decision. In fact, it's getting in the way of you making a decision. So that's the next thing we're trying to do. And what real change is, how are we recreating ourselves is exactly that. Is completely trying to let go of old ways of being, old patterns. When that person said that, I always get angry. When my mum pressures me to get married, I always get so frustrated because blah, 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 blah. How about not doing that anymore? Stop getting frustrated. She cares about you, no? Whatever. She's got her own issues. So just choose to breathe. Next time, take a breath and be like, you know what? I'm going to now choose to do something differently. I'm not going to react. People are so reactive. Stop reacting. Start proacting. Start being proactive. Start choosing, what do I want to be? Who do I want to be? What do I want to do in this situation? What would the best me do in this situation? What would a tzaddik think, say, and do in this situation? And then really try hard to think, say, and do those things. That's it. So, and by the way, this is the biggest one ever. Let's say you don't. Let's say you mess up again. So you know what you people do when they mess up again? I get knocked down and I mess up again. That's not a song. I get knocked down, I get up again. I'm not messing up. Let's say you mess up again. Do you know what most people do? They beat themselves up for messing up again. So now you just messed up again, because beating yourself up is messing up. How's beating yourself up helping you? What are you doing? Do you honestly think that by beating yourself up, you're going to grow? Is it serving any purpose to beat yourself up? Don't be. So what you could do is, next time you had an opportunity to be very new and do something differently, you didn't. You messed up and you didn't take the opportunity. You messed up and you reacted again. You can still win the game by not beating yourself up for messing up. And then you did change yourself. You hear this? It's a game. Stop playing the game. Life's a game. Stop being a bit chilled out. Chill out. There you go. Just chill out a bit. Just play the game. Play the game. We're going to mess up. You're going to mess up. That's part of the game. By the way, when we say, and we do say this, that you don't really get a challenge that you can't deal with, sometimes the challenge isn't what you thought the challenge was. You had a challenge and you messed up. You didn't pass the challenge, but that wasn't actually the challenge God was giving you. The challenge God was giving you was to challenge you. How are you going to deal with messing up on your challenge? That was the real challenge. So you can win the actual ultimate challenge by not beating yourself up for not passing that little challenge, which wasn't really the challenge. It was just a challenge to get you to the challenge. Amazing. That's amazing. So you got to redefine yourself. Who do I want to be? No, but everyone sees me as this one. I'm the funny one. I'm the intelligent one. I'm the business one. I'm the this one. I'm the sad one. And by the way, people start identifying with all sorts of nonsense. I'm the one whose parents got divorced. I'm sorry people go through difficult things, but that's not who you are. That doesn't define you. Start redefine yourself, saying that's not who I am. That's what happened to me. That's an aspect of me. That's my talent. That's my accomplishment. But that doesn't define me. But you got to understand this. You define yourself every second of the day based on what choices you're making. You define yourself by how you deal with your own mistakes. You define yourself by what thoughts you're making significant. You define yourself by how you're choosing to speak to other people. You define yourself by what actions you're choosing. You define yourself by what you are investing your emotion and your money and your time and your consciousness in. And that changes it. You can change that every second. Do that again and again, redefine. Messed up again? Okay, you got another day, you got another minute, you got another every time, again and again, 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 just do it again, 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 again. Hear this? Very, very important, very exciting. I'm very excited. I love it, Elul. It's very important. By the way, what's Elul? Rosh Hashanah fits in exactly. Obviously, everything in the Torah fits in perfectly, but Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of the year, but we're starting now. We're talking about new beginnings a month before the beginning. Because you can't get up like a lion if you go to bed like a donkey. So you got to, you got to prepare for a month for the beginning. Amazing thing. So Elul's prayer, just at least tapping into this self-belief that I can be great, I can be different, I can be new, and I'll fall and I'll get up, and I'll fall and I'll get up, be new, fall, get up. I'm going to do that. This is my consciousness. My consciousness is now I'm not a victim. I'm not being a victim anymore. I'm taking complete responsibility for my life, my choices, my mood. I'm not going to let other people control how I feel about myself and about life and the weather. And I'm not going to let anyone or any external factor choose how I feel. How about that? This is, by the way, the ultimate level of self-control. Self-control means I or my neshama is in control. You are not in control of me, and the weather's not in control of me, and my health isn't in control of me, and my circumstances aren't in control of me. And you know what? My own emotions aren't in control of me, and my own thoughts aren't even in control of me. I, the consciousness, the super divine soul consciousness, that's in control. So I'm going to get my thoughts and my speech and my action, which our sages teach us are the garments of our soul. They're the ways our soul expresses itself. I'm going to bring them in line with my soul. That's all. By the way, this is what tshuva is. Tshuva means to return to being a divine God-conscious being. And this is, by the way, what Judaism teaches is the power of beginnings. I think that's our subject tonight. I don't know where I've gone here, but I'm kind of staying on topic. But the power of beginnings, our sages teach us that the beginning is intrinsically pure, perfect, and healthy. That is what a beginning is in Judaism. How do we know that? Bereshis bara Elokim et hashamayim et haaretz. In the beginning of creating, the word bara, creating, is strongly related to the word bari, which is healthy. God created the universe healthy. We're all healthy until stuff happens. Until stuff happens, you're a healthy human being. Basically, we have definitely ingrained traits and stuff that we have to overcome, which we will. But in general, I gave a class the other day. Imagine someone grew up never being hurt. They got a family, the perfect family, perfect friends, perfect teachers. They're 12-year-old. They've never been hurt. They don't go around hurting people. They're really nice people, unless they've been spoiled, by the way. But that's different. But in general, if someone hasn't, as someone said to me the other day, hurt people, which is true. I'm like, you know what? Hurt people. Not hurt people. They don't hurt people. They just don't do that. It's not natural. It's not natural for us to hurt other people. It's learned. Once we get hurt, we hurt other people. So I said to them, I hear that, but that's unconscious hurt people. Hurt people don't have to hurt people. You can slip that in there. How about that? I'm hurt, so I'm going to hurt other people. You know what? I'm hurt, but I'm not going to hurt other people. In fact, I'm going to heal other people. Because I got hurt, now I can be the greatest healer. The greatest healers are the ones who got hurt the most. So you could be that person. You could, and you could be justified, and no one could blame you. And you can say, well, because my dad did that to me, I'm going to do that to other people. You can say that, whatever. But you can choose, I'm going to be different. I don't want to be like that. Which is the whole of, we all know, leaving Egypt. How did we left Egypt? And we left slavery, but then the Egyptians chased us. So we had left Egypt, but we hadn't left behind the trauma, basically, of Egypt. So you can leave a painful situation, but you're still carrying the trauma with you. So how do you deal with that? You have to cross the sea. That is, crossing the sea is change your nature. The sea turned from water into dry land. So Judaism is telling you, don't say this is who I am. This is my nature. I'm just by nature an angry person, a depressed person, an extrovert, an introvert, a this-avert. You know, I don't, well, sorry, I'm not belittling anyone, but I don't care about your nature. And you know what? I don't even care about your nurture. Forget your nature and your nurture. They're not in control of you. You be new. You could, for the rest of your life, say, this is just who I am. I'm a high anxiety person, and that's who I am. If you're going to identify as it, then you can't change that. You've got to identify as a pure soul. I am a pure soul, and I'm dealing with anxiety and issues. I got lots of students in AA. You know, after you've learned with me for a few months, I got a lot of students that were in AA before they came. And I like AA very much. I think it's great. And obviously it talks about God the whole time. And AA is great. There's just one thing about AA I don't like. And I tell my students, and it's very strong. And it's the very, very first thing they say. The first thing they say is, I am an alcoholic and I am not in control of it. I am an alcoholic and I'm not in control of it. I say to them, absolutely not, wrong, no, no, no. You are not an alcoholic. You're a perfect, pure, radiant being of divine light. And I can't control my alcoholism. You can say the second half. I'm even okay with that. But the first half, if you start identifying as something, you can't change that. The only way you're going to change your character traits is to say, that is not me. That's not me. I don't identify with it. Now, this got really messed up at the beginning, because at the beginning with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, it was clear that the snake wasn't them. The snake was an external voice. So it was obviously wasn't them. Then they ate the fruit and they basically internalized the snake's voice. So now the snake's voice became part of them. So they said, well, this is just part of me. And we're saying, no, it's not. The snake's voice, the Yetzer Hara, your negative mind patterns, that's not even part of you. It's not part of you. It's like a virus. A virus is in you, but you don't identify as the virus. Well, you know, Corona is just part of who I am. You don't say that. You deal with it. You treat your Corona. So don't even say my Yetzer Hara is a part of me. I don't believe it is. I say, just say it's not. It's an external entity that took up lodging within your consciousness. And the second you can say it's an external entity, then you can deal with it. By the way, you're completely responsible to deal with it. You got to treat yourself. You're responsible for it. Like your child isn't you, but you're responsible to educate it and raise it in a proper way. So don't identify with your Yetzer Hara. Just say, that's not me. Don't identify with your negative character trait. Amazing how many people come up to me and say, Rabbi, I hate myself. Just look at them and I say, you know what? If I were you, I'd hate myself too. No, I don't say that. Bye. That was a joke, by the way. That was a joke. What I say to them is, why do you hate yourself? And they say, because I get really upset when this happens and I'm not a good friend and I'm this. And I say to them, okay, but that's not yourself. Those are negative character traits you need to work on. Why are you identifying as your negative character traits? They don't define you. Your negative character traits don't define you. How you choose to deal with them, that defines you a lot more, actually, than what they are. When you have children and they have negative character traits, you're not going to hate your children. And if you are, don't have children yet. Work on it. So don't hate yourself for your own negative character traits. Just work on them. So stop identifying with those things. Be new. Be new. And by the way, being new in Judaism is being old. Do you know that? What is the word to progress in Hebrew? To progress in Hebrew. Kadima, lehitkadem. Lehitkadem, kadima, kadima, go, go. Lehitkadem. What is the root of the word lehitkadem? Kodem, kodem. For the before. Lehitkadem means to go back to where you were before, when you were Bereshit Bara Elokim Shemaim V'Aretz. You're pure. That's what tshuva is. Lehitkadem and tshuva, it's the same thing. I'm going forward, but to go back to my natural, intrinsic, healthy state of being. That's who I am. So you have to identify with this. So I'm going to tell you a story quickly. I heard it in India first, from one of my gurus. And it's a very, very important story. And it goes like this, a very famous story in India, by the way. There was a lioness, a pregnant lioness, and she was walking along through her field, and she lost her footing and she tumbled down a cliff. And basically halfway down the cliff, she kind of died, and as she landed, she gave birth to the lion cub, and she died. Happens to be that she fell down the cliff and landed in a field of sheep. So the lion cub gets up, he kind of looks around, and he's like, my family, I'm a sheep. And he's like, amazing. So he starts kind of learning sheep. And he eats grass, and he's pretty cool with that. The other sheep seem a little bit scared of him. He had a bit of a complex, but whatever. So he's this little sheep cub thing, and he starts acting like a sheep, and he gets a complete identity. He identifies as a sheep. He got a sheep passport. He's got a sheep. And not only that, he's a very strong sheep. He's so culturally, he's got such a strong pride. I'm proud to be a sheep. This is who I am. I'm a sheep. So he's walking, and he's 6 months and 9 months, and he's a year, and he's walking through the field, and he's playing, he's frolicking with the sheep, and he's mang, and he's ma. Then one day a lion comes along. And he runs into the field. He's very hungry. He wants to eat a sheep, and he's running. And then suddenly he stops, and he sees in the middle of the flock of sheep, there's this lion cub. And the lion's like, what's going on here? So he bounds over, and he grabs the little sheep lion cub thing, back of his neck, and he pulls him, and he says to the lion cub sheep, what are you doing? And the lion sheep cub says, ma, ma. And the lion's like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm running away from the lion. And the lion's like, what are you doing, you idiot? You're a lion. And the sheep says, I'm not a lion, I'm a sheep. You can't trick me, I'm a sheep. Look, look, I'll show you. We got all these sheep games we play. Look, I play sheep games. I know every sheep language. I know all the gematrias of sheep. I'm a sheep. I'm proud to be a sheep. I have sheep festivals. We do, I'm a sheep. I love sheep, And we look at all my best friends, they're sheep, and my mum, everyone's a sheep. And the lion's like, stop. You are not a sheep, you're a lion. And he goes, no, don't say that. I'm a sheep. So basically the lion takes the sheep to the pond and says, look in the pond. So the sheep looks in the pond, the lion, sheep thing, looks in the pond, and he sees it, and he jumps back and he says, no, you're tricking me. I don't know what you've done. I'm not a lion, I'm a sheep. And basically the lion roars. One big like Mufasa Dika roar. Like in that part in Lion King when Nala and Simba in the elephant graveyard and all the hyenas are there, and then Simba does that little rah, and he says, try again, and he's like, rah, rah. I'm Mufasa Khan. That's my favorite part. I love that part. Anyway, so Mufasa Khan. So the lion does one of those Mufasa Dika roars, and then something awakens within the lion cub. And he's like, oh, wow, I'm a lion. So that's the first day. And that was the end of the story. And obviously, you know what the story is talking about is the guru comes up to us who think we're, I'm a real estate agent, and I've got this job, and I'm playing this role, and I'm a father. Someone said to me the other day, and my identity is completely changed. I became a mother, and my identity is completely changed. I was like, what do you mean? And she goes, I'm more this person's mother than myself. I said, your identity doesn't change. You're not a mother, you're not a sister, you're not a daughter, you're not a wife. That's not who you are. Those are roles you are playing. Who you are is neshama. You're a lion. Basically, I was just saying, stop being a sheep. No, I'm anxious, I'm this, I have these issues, I've got this. And okay, that's not stop being a sheep. You're a lion. But the first thing you have to do is admit that you're a lion. At least recognize you're a lion. Say, I'm a lion. I'm new, I'm fresh, I'm a radiant being of divine conscious light. That's the very first step. Now, then that lion sheep cub has to learn to roar. I'm not saying just identifying as a lion turns you into that. He has to learn to roar, he has to learn to eat meat, you got to learn again. That's fine. But you could take the first step, which is at least to lihitkadem, to go back to what you really are. At least identify as what you really are. Very, very important. And then you can start being great. You can start being a lion. So this is what the rabbis, this is what our sages, this is what we're saying to you. Stop being a wife, mother, father, brother, sister, real estate agent, tennis player, taxpayer. Do those things. You can do those things, but that's not who you are. Your marital status and your memories and your dreams, that's not who you are. Those are things that you're experiencing. Know who you are. Wake up, wake up. So when I came back to the holy ways of the enlightened Jewish masters, I was thinking about this story, and I was like, obviously everything comes from the Torah. So I was like, what's the Torah of this story? So basically, this is the Torah of the story. The Torah is the story is the tzaddikim are telling us, kulam tzaddikim. Our sages teach us, it says in Yeshayahu, chapter 60, verse 21. Don't be impressed, it's the only one I know, because I quote it quite often. It says, Amech kulam tzaddikim, you're all tzaddikim. So the tzaddikim is saying to us, you're tzaddik, you are a tzaddik. Your natural state of being is fully enlightened and righteous. So be a tzaddik. That's it. So then we say, no, I'm not really a tzaddik, I can't do this, and I eat whatever I eat, and I'm not keeping kosher and Shabbos. And so then the tzaddik takes you to the water, and water is always Torah. Water means Torah. Water gives life. Water is our life force. It's pure. And so that's what Torah is. So we look into the Torah sometimes, but just like that line deep, we're like, no, you're tricking me. And that's what happened to lots of us. We look in the Torah and said, what, I don't really resonate with lots of these ideas, or it doesn't. So we say, hold on, that's not really me. But then there's the roar. And what's the roar? What's that primal scream? It's the shofar. That's what the shofar is doing. This is your kavanah with the shofar. It's just saying, just break through everything. Break through your conditioning. Break through your nature. Break through your nurture. Break through your issues, your problem, your pain. Just break through it and reveal, roar back. Basically, God blew our neshama into us. God blew our life force and our vitality into us. And what's the shofar doing? The shofar is blowing it back. Say, I'm going to use that life force and that vitality to be who I really want to be. Whenever I give anything to my kids for them to reach their potential, if they use it in the right way, that's great. I want them to use that in the right way. I buy them school books. I buy them chess set. I want to see them use what I gave them. So Hashem says, I want to see you use and manifest what I gave you. And that is pure tzaddik energy. As you know, I bought my daughter rollerblades a couple of years ago, and she put them on and she goes, Abba, what do you want? And I was like, oh, I'll have an apple. And she rollerbladed across the room and got me an apple, brought it back. I was like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. But she used what I gave her to serve me, but really it's to serve herself, because the greatest thing we can do is have this partnership with our Father who loves us. So that's what we're trying to do. So that's what this is our opportunity. Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of change. It's the beginning of change. But really, Elul is the beginning of change. Rosh Chodesh, the first day of the month, obviously is related to the word Rosh Chadash, which means a new head, get a new perspective, see things in a different way. And when you don't beat yourself up. Don't do that. Just try again and again and again and again and again. Just keep going until the end. We're not going to be here forever. We're not around forever. So you might as well just keep going until the end. Don't stop before the end. And by the way, that's what Elul is, because they really affect everything. You can uplift the whole year in this last year. So if somebody's digging and digging and digging, and then they give up, but the cartoon shows the cross section and the treasure is just 2 more digs later, and they gave up. Just keep digging until the end. And by the way, in Judaism, it's the digging that is the treasure. There's a digging, and then we come to the end, and then the neshama, the soul, receives the treasure, the pleasure of having done all the digging work. Be'ezus Hashem, we should all have a beautiful, sweet, holy, happy every second of every day. I was going to say New Year, but I think we should try to go for it at least every morning for 1 minute, and as much as we possibly can. Are there any questions, suggestions, complaints? Primal scream.
Any questions? I'll unmute you. You'll be unmuted if you have a question.
By the way, says you've got to wake up like a lion in the morning. Maybe that means when you wake up in the morning, you should roar. I dare you. Wake up tomorrow morning and just be like, rah, rah. I dare you. I dare you to do that. That's what the Shulchan Aruch obviously meant.
Rabbi, I did it one day, true, and my wife got a big shock. Poor wife.
My goodness.
I should have warned her. So warn your spouses, everybody.
Or leave the room before you do that.
Verda. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I want to tell something. I want to share. I'm from Turkey, Istanbul. My new beginning is I'm going to start to learn Hebrew.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
What? Are you going to come
Proud
to
of you,
Israel
brother.
one?
I can't hear you, sorry.
Are you planning on visiting Israel one day?
Sure. I will. I have to come there.
Yeah.
This is my land, so.
Bezrat Hashem. We'll be waiting.
We have a question on Facebook for you, Rabbi. The question on Facebook from the wonderful Carla is, how does one stop beating oneself up?
Can I give you an answer that is true, but it's going to annoy you? Just
Carla
stop beating yourself up. Just stop beating yourself up. What are you talking about? How do I stop punching myself in the face? Stop punching yourself in the face. What are you talking about? But I'll give you that is the true answer, but the answer is, watch. As soon as you notice yourself beating yourself up, stop and smile. And it's in my head, Rabbi Dovber says it's not kosher to beat myself up, so I'm not going to do it anymore. What we got to start doing is belittle that voice in your head. Here's another tool, practical tool. Whatever that beating yourself up voice in your head says to you, stop and repeat it in a Donald Duck voice or any silly voice. It's like, oh, I can't even do Donald Duck voice. What's wrong with you? You shouldn't have done that. And just make fun of the voice in your head. Our problem is we give it so much significance. And we're like, oh, yes, voice in my head. You're right. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to beat yourself up. Or it's hard to stop it starting, but you can, once it's started, become quickly aware and realize that it's not serving any purpose. I'm going to get off that bus. If you want a more long-term and supportive answer, go to litmindfulness.org, LIT mindfulness.org. And that's a whole system of helping you implement these changes in your life.